Welcome back to Ferocious Education. This is Zach. Today I'm going to be talking about MARA. So here we're going to be going through technical analysis and then news and an overview about the company's operations and how I'll be playing the stock. Now make sure to drop a like to this video to help this channel grow, subscribe, and leave your notifications on. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. What we get to see here right off the bat is an MACD that is curving downwards. It is testing a negative reversal, so we need to look into the 1 hour perspective on the MACD. It is testing it as soon as tomorrow. What we get to see as well is an ADX that is above 50, and usually above 50 is a warning sign that a reversal might happen in the negative direction. And you get to see a William percent R here that is sitting at a neutral and a momentum that is a bit more at sit still. The stock is trading in the trading action zone where reversals are likely. Now it did see this reversal up and now it's kind of more off going towards the downwards area. Whether that sees another reversal, that is a question of how the stock would be trading. 50 SMA and the 200 SMA is under the stock price, so it is bullish. So we need to look into the 1 hour perspective. So far it does look bullish, with a chance of a reversal here on the MACD and a little bit of an unstable trend. A reversal would be likely there. So first things first, we get to look into the MACD. It does look like it's actually gone negative on the 1 hour scale. It doesn't look like it's stopped. It's curving upwards at this point, but there is a chance on that. The ADX is sitting a little bit at 28.76 coming in from 30. Doesn't mean anything at this point. William percent R is sitting at really close to oversold, a little bit around neutral. And momentum here seems a little bit sloppy. Unbalanced volume seems to be a lot less, almost the lowest point it has. Now here is the very interesting thing that we're seeing. The stock price 10 SMA is curving very close to be under the 30 EMA. It's curving down. If the 10 SMA above 30 EMA, which is what we have here, is bullish, but it is almost changing around where the 30 EMA would go above the 10 SMA. The price is under the VWAP, and here is one of the most interesting things is a Death Star is forming here. That's when the 50 SMA and the 200 SMA crosses each other, 50 SMA from the top, 200 SMA from the bottom, and so they reverse. Now, it is not confirmed that it's reversing, but it looks like it is a Death Star happening very closely, or at least a test for a Death Star. 50 SMA is coming in from the top, from the 200 SMA, they're touching, and that's really the definition of a Death Star, which is very much of a bearish point. You really would consider selling at that point, but a lot of the time that doesn't hold through. Really depends on a lot of things. So let's go on towards the moving average band. We get to see that the stock is trading way above that moving average band here in blue, or in CN with purple in the middle, and it's expected to trade between 313 and 254 on the moving average bands. Now going on supports and resistances, we see currently a support traditionally at 372, below that 369, below that 362, below that 357, below that on a Fibonacci scale 349, and then we're seeing one underneath at 337, 332, 319, 31, and $3. Now going on towards resistances, we see a bit of a resistance here at 383, 387, 393, 399, and then we're seeing $4, 410, 412, 417, and then 425. Going on towards where trend lines are, let's try to establish if that trend line has been broken. And you get to see that that trend line, I would still say it holds. So that trend line still holds, and you get to see that the bottom of that trend line is still around 344 in the morning. And so once it breaks that, you would still consider selling. Usually that's the case when it comes to something like that. Now going on towards where earnings are, they just had their earnings. Let's quickly check on terms of estimates. It's not updated, but they did submit their earnings for that. So let's take a quick look towards institutional and news. So of course they did have previously an offering back there, so that's already expired in terms of news. That's closed. It's closed. They still didn't exercise their entire shelf offering, but that's normal. Every stock has a shelf offering, so that's fine. I did read as well that they do have miners going on today in effect. So that's one thing. In terms of going towards their 10K, what you get to see here is a little bit higher cash equivalent, but higher total assets. We're talking about 10.7 million compared to 6.6 million. So that is positive news. You get to see total liability and equity shareholders, basically the same kind of comparison there. From revenues, you get to see a little bit of decrease in revenue from cryptocurrency mining revenue. And we're getting seeing a little bit of a higher operating loss. So when it comes down to where the net loss is, you're seeing a bit more higher losses, 2.1 million compared to 565,000. An increase of a net loss from 0.13 diluted compared to 0.09. That's based on the amount of shares, and they do have the shares increased around 3 times, almost 3 times. Now, moving on towards, try to go on through the presentations. I don't see any presentations go on their website, even though they have a tab for it. Sometimes things like that happen. I wouldn't mind it. But just going on quickly through the website, they do have 1,300 Bitmain, well, I'm just going to call them S9 miners, almost 27,000 square feet space in Quebec, Canada. Utilization of approximately 2 megawatts, approximately 19 PH/S of ASIC mining capacity, yada yada yada. So that's basically their assets. In terms of an overview of the company itself, so they mainly go on with mining cryptocurrency with a focus of blockchain ecosystem and generation of digital assets. We're currently operating one mining facility in Quebec, so it has Canadian operations. Now, another thing for this stock is that it has been trading where if Bitcoin does jump higher, it does trade higher. And so a lot of people are asking, okay, so Bitcoin crossed the $12,000 point, $12,000 point for one Bitcoin. Why did the stock still dip after that? Well, a big part of it is that was a milestone. That was a big milestone that people were looking at. Once you cross that resistance on Bitcoin, because it's a 12,000, you would expect that's basically the catalyst, right? The ceiling above that is not yet understood because it hasn't reached above that in a while. So literally the catalyst would be a little bit off. Now this could be as well part of buy the rumor, sell the news kind of situation. Another thing with this one here is earnings as well. So it might actually be in a chance where it is breaking that trend from Bitcoin, although I really do doubt that that's the case. Now, when it goes in towards where your entry point would be, or how I would play the stock, here is where I consider in a really good support that is looking out to be almost a double bottom, somewhere around the 360-ish range, and then below that, somewhere around $3. It does seem that it did hit it twice before, but I do want to wait on this stock. It is a hold, but it's also not a buy for me at this point. I would consider buying if it does dip down to those levels. What do you think about the sticker? Make sure you mention down in the comments below. Share, subscribe, and like, and you have a wonderful day.